I just want to make some initial comparisons about the real estate market. So something that's probably around like $350,000 is worth probably how much in Toronto?
350 is about $2 million home in Toronto.
Welcome back to another episode of the Black is the New Rich podcast. And today we got a very special guest. Actually, it's our first guest that's out of town. And today it's going to be one of those episodes that are very, very important because honestly, as you guys know, if you live in Toronto or Ontario, things are getting very expensive. So I believe we have to find alternative ways to live comfortable, and I feel like this next guest has those alternative ways. But I don't want to keep on talking. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, this is Jean Kabongo here, and I'm very happy to be in the podcast. I think my friend Corey here that's been doing a great job and been really food for thoughts and creating, really feeding the mind. So
thank you.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And you are. Oh, tell everyone where you're from.
Well,
or where you're
it's a
living.
long story. Yeah. It's like, but let me break it down. I'm a journeyman, so I got to put it down that way. I was born in the Congo, in Kinshasa. Shout out to every Congolese.
Nice.
And moved out down here in Canada, like 20 years ago. And, really grew up here in Mississauga, Meadowville. Shout out to everyone from MDV. And I really... After Mississauga, I moved around quite a bit, and I moved down to Alberta. I did a few years down there, moved back home to Mississauga, and then now it's been like 3 years from going to 4 years now. I'm in Manitoba, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about different opportunities that you have. So, I'm a journeyman, so I'm from everywhere.
Yeah.
But Sauga's home.
Okay. So I'm gonna go into a little bit more into your backstory, but right now in Manitoba, you are a mortgage agent.
Yes, so I just been licensed as a mortgage agent a few months ago. A field that I've been really, really trying to get into for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But I finally got my license and everything.
Congrats.
So I'm super excited about that.
And just because obviously we were talking off camera, I just want to make some initial comparisons about the real estate market. So something that's probably around like $350,000 is worth probably how much in Toronto?
A $350,000 home in Toronto, you're probably gonna get it like a $2 million home.
Yeah, so sorry, in Manitoba.
A $350
Yeah.
is about $2 million home in Toronto.
Jeez.
And with a lot of perks too. Like you're looking at more space, more land, right? You're looking at property tax being a lot cheaper than out here.
Yeah.
So not only you're looking at how much you're paying for the home, but there's a lot of other fees that comes down with the home. Being a homeowner is not just about your mortgage, it's about the taxes also surrounding it. Taxes is cheaper, you got more land, you got more space. There's just a lot of different perks that comes around with it.
Yeah.
And when I say Manitoba, I don't mean like the Winnipeg, because most people just think about Winnipeg, which is
Where are
the
you
big
exactly?
city. I'm just like an hour away from Winnipeg, which is, so think about being in Toronto and living like Barrie.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Makes sense.
So it's like the suburb of it, but an hour is
nothing.
Is different than an hour here.
Yeah.
Here you think about an hour, it's like you're stuck in traffic, you're going different places and so on. Over there it's a straight drive.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't even feel like it. People even commute here from like Mississauga to downtown Toronto. You spend over an hour.
Sometimes in the summer, I'm getting to work. It took me in the summer 2.5 hours sometimes.
Exactly.
To downtown.
Exactly. So when you look at it that way, I mean, I always grew up in an entrepreneurial mindset. Those that know me, that understand that you got to have a mind of an entrepreneur. You got to look at long term and not just looking at short term. If you look at all of that, you look at is people that took advantage of the market, and when the market was still at its early stage, really growing, and now to be able to laugh, right? but that opportunity, not everybody had that opportunity
Yeah.
to be able to take advantage of that market. So for me, I just feel like the game is still early in different locations for most people to take advantage of those market. A lot of people just don't know it. They don't know how to start. They don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of here to like open people's minds and
Yes.
be like, yes, there are opportunities. Like you're never really late. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of, that's one of those things. Yeah.
Okay, because I was looking at our conversation that we had a couple of days ago, and you sent me 2 listings, and those listings blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I believe it was a 2-bedroom condo
Yeah.
for $150,000.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
like, this is a beautiful condo.
Yeah.
And so what I want to know is, for the people that are like struggling here and trying to make a living, or they may be starting about a family, like if they wanted to think about that process, where do they start?
First, I will always say, even with outside of real estate and just even my personal life, I'm all about motivation, goals, and, being able to set really what is your life is going to look like?
True.
What is your long-term goal? What are you trying to get to, right? Most people are just kind of want to live the day-to-day, go to work, pay the bills, and then live the day-to-day. Next thing you know, you're 60-year-old, you don't have anything left for your kids. You don't have retirement money because you didn't save any money, you didn't invest any money, and the next generation just kind of starts again from fresh.
Yeah, from start.
And from start,
What's
like
the point of that?
It was exactly what is the point of that? So, first thing I was to tell everybody, it's a sacrifice. Anything that you do in life, is you got to put in your mind that you got to sacrifice, and you're sacrificing not only for yourself, but you got to sacrifice for the next generation.
Yeah.
And that's how we create generational wealth.
100%.
And generational wealth is just about how do you make a dollar quickly, how you turn a dollar into $5 quickly, but you got to think of long term. How do I turn $5 today in the next 20 years into $1 million, right? It's a long game. It's not a short game where, I'm going to get a house, I'm going to flip it, I'm going to do this, but you got to think long term. So by saying that is you got to sacrifice. You got to sometimes sacrifice your comfort zone. You got to get outside of your comfort zone. It's like, okay, all these parties that you've been going to, all these events,
the city stuff,
all the city life. Put that in the side for a minute and just ask yourself, where is this going to get me? Because all I'm doing is just spending. It's just expenses that piles up every month. You be just being a consumer instead of being an owner. So you got to put that into your mind first. Understand that, well, I want something better. I need to sacrifice certain things in life. And because I want to sacrifice some certain things in life, I got to now adapt to the new lifestyle that I'm going to build. It's not easy. I know a lot of friends that did the move and they're trying to go and they came back because they couldn't adapt, They didn't have the same friends that they had around them. They didn't have the family that was around them when, they were in the city and had everybody around. But it's not for everybody. Not everybody goes through that. But you got to prepare your mind first. Everything starts with your mind. You got to prepare your mind.
How did you do that?
So for me, because first of all, being an immigrant helps.
True.
Being an immigrant helps because you're used to that grind. It's like, how many times we move when we're young, that kind of thing. So for me, it was, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
You get enough sleep, bro. For me, it's easy because I'm never really attached to anything. And I feel like that's my life has always been like, as soon as you get attached to something, you become a sucker to that one thing that you're attached to. And I've always learned from a young age that don't get attached to anything. Once you don't get attached to anything, you have the power now to control your life instead of having things control you. So that was me. I look at it. Honestly, for where I am right now, I basically look at that on the internet when I was down here. I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, hang on a second. Everybody's taking down $1 million loan just to buy a little house.
Little house.
You know what I'm saying? $1 million loan. I'm like, why would I put myself in debt for $1 million? I understand the logic behind how much equity you can get in there. We're intelligent enough to understand all of that. but I'm not gonna put myself in a hole, put a string in my neck
Yeah.
for something that I might not even enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. So I just looked at the market online, and I was looking at some of the houses, right, and I was looking at some of the houses. It was like $700,000. It was like a mansion down in Manitoba with like 5-acre land in the backyard, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right. This is what life is supposed to be like.
When I seen your backyard, I was blown away. That's what sold me. I seen your backyard. I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, you can live differently. We don't have to live the way we live sometimes in the GTA. Mm-hmm. Most people are living in their grandma's basement, their parents' basement, just trying to get by.
Yeah.
But think about it. How many years have you been doing that and expecting different results? Mm-hmm. It's not just magically going to happen. So I had to make a decision. Mm-hmm. So my decision was, I had to quit my job. I had to accept that I'm going to quit my job out here, and I'm going to go and try and do something better. So luckily for me, I had some businesses back home where I was able to, navigate back and forth and be able to generate some income. Mm-hmm. The first thing that I actually did is getting a piece of land. Mm-hmm. Right?
So you got the land before your home.
Oh, yeah. An opportunity that you can never find in a GTA. Yeah. Buying a piece of land. So,
what? Sorry, I want to get into like how big was the land? How much around was it? Like, what are you looking at?
This is gonna blow your mind away.
Yeah.
All right. I found this piece of land, 1/3 of an acre. Okay. In Manitoba, it was about 10 minutes from the border to the United States.
Oh, jeez.
The border to North Dakota.
Yeah.
Okay. Close to the border. It was a young man. He was 22-year-old. Mm-hmm. He inherited the land from his parents. Mm-hmm. And he was just going to look to make quick money.
Yeah.
1/3 of an acre.
Yeah.
I got it for 12 G's.
12 grand. And I seen your backyard. Wow, that's crazy.
I got the land for 12 G's. Right? So, and now it's like, at that time, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. I have friends in Manitoba that have 80 acres.
Yeah.
I have friends that most of my friends have 5 acres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I come from a city where if you can make it in Toronto, you can make it anywhere.
Literally.
You know? I know my New York people out there be like, yo, that's our slang. No, but listen, Toronto is like a mini New York as well. You can make the grind is real out here.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand that until I moved away from Toronto and I understand that we got a different mindset. Yeah. We really grind out here. Like because the expenses that we got in Toronto, people work like 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. Like people out there are not like that.
Yeah.
They just enjoy whatever they have in front of them because they don't have to grind.
Yeah.
You know, but when you come in a mentality where you grind, you look at things in a different angle. And for me, it was like, you know what? I'm going to start getting this piece of land.
Jeez.
Right?
How long did you sit on the land for before you built your house?
So the good thing is like my house is actually building in a different land. So I'm still sitting on that one first piece of land.
Oh, you have the land.
I still have that one.
Oh.
So that one is 1/3 of an acre.
You're just sitting on
the value, I bought it at 12 G's. The value of it right now is 65 G's. So I'm still sitting on it.
How long ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years?
Yeah. So that was 2 years ago. So I'm still sitting on that. Because I know, like I say, it's a long game. It's not about the short game. It's about the long game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where people don't understand is like there's opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to be stuck out here and trying to just make it. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to really try to understand is like, we're living in this life. We ain't getting no younger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
100%.
the years go by so fast, and we blink an eye, and it's 5 years, 10 years pass by.
Yeah.
You know, Corey, you and I have seen. You know, back in the day, it was like a long. You know, it seems like it was yesterday, but it's been over 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So things like that was like, okay, what's your goal? Mm-hmm. Like, where are you trying to get to? You're just trying to live day by day, or you're actually trying to live and get somewhere in life.
Jeez. Yeah. So then what's the job opportunities like for someone that's thinking, hey, I'm interested, but I don't know what the job market is. Can I transfer my job? Can I what's going on out there with that?
One thing I really like is, you know, the pandemic brought us bad things, and they also brought us a lot of good
really
things.
A lot of good things.
Okay?
I agree.
One of the great things the pandemic brought us is work from home.
Mm-hmm. I
Guys,
understand that.
like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people right now that work from home. which means you can really live anywhere and still make the same amount of money that you are making down
Yes,
here.
yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that bring Ontario or Toronto salary,
And then
working
go
from
back.
home, and then go back and
Yeah.
live in places where you're basically paying nothing for your mortgage.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that want to pay off your mortgage quickly, you can pay off your mortgage within 10 years or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that the job market, it really depends on the field in which you're in. It is true that being in those places, there's not too many opportunity like there is down here. That's the reality for
Yeah.
sure.
More
But
people here.
what I really like is having an entrepreneur mindset is the opportunity to create,
Be creative.
being creative. So when you come in places like that, it's really from building from the ground up. Not a lot of industries have developed yet. So if you're in a certain industry, that's an opportunity for you to be the first person to build that industry.
Yeah, because you were just telling me a Jamaican spot just got built for the
Exactly.
first time.
So just down like maybe 10 minutes away from my house,
Yeah.
you know, we had our very first Jamaican restaurant.
Yeah.
Booming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Booming.
Yeah.
It's like we never had one before.
Yeah.
Think about I gotta go an hour away just to get a haircut because there's no black barbershop.
Oh,
but yet there's so
jeez.
many black people around now.
Okay.
You know? And renting out a retail space is like nothing.
Yeah.
You can rent out a retail space for like $1,000 a month.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's just so many business opportunity because it's a growing place and houses are being built. A lot of immigrants are coming down
Yeah.
there. A lot of people are finding out that, you know, being out there, you get more space, you get more land, you get
Yeah.
more this, you get more that. Life is
And
sweet.
more of our people are starting to move down there.
More and more people are starting to move down there, and that's exactly what you want as an entrepreneur, as
Yeah.
a business.
100%.
So now you look at it, it was like, how do I capitalize on this opportunity? How do I build from the ground up?
Because my barber, right, we always have great talks about, like, because here that industry is so saturated, so he would love to charge more for his services, and I'm always thinking of a way how he can charge more. But if he were to go to Manitoba, he would destroy it.
Exactly. And you don't even have to charge that much because
There's so
your
many people.
your expenses are not that much.
True.
Okay. We're just talking about the listing, right? If the condo is $150,000, that means your mortgage on that condo
Like
is about
$700.
$700 a month.
Jeez.
Okay.
And a nice condo.
Yeah. Let me just tell you something. A lot of people in Manitoba and the rural Manitoba are living just on child tax benefit.
Jeez.
For example, they got 3-4 kids. Probably if they don't work, let's say, they probably cashing about maybe $2,000 a month.
Yeah, for all of them.
They probably got a mortgage less than $1,000.
Yeah.
The rest they can put it
Not
on
working.
food, not working, or just working part time.
Yeah.
People actually living life and spending more time with their children and their family versus just going and grinding and working all day long. So, or somebody tell you, you live your life when you retire when you're 65. What are you gonna do at 65?
Yeah.
You're not gonna enjoy your life.
100%.
Enjoy your life right now.
Yeah.
So if you're able to create a business that you can generate a lot of income off that business, a lot of revenues and profit, then you'll be able to spend less. Your life expenses, your day-to-day expenses are less.
Yeah.
And you have
And
more
you're making-
money
and you're making
to
the
go
same.
on vacation with your family. You'll be able to do a lot of things that you never hoped you would have done
Yeah.
because now you have liquid
Yeah.
and you can do a lot of things. You can invest that money.
Yeah.
You can buy more properties.
Yeah.
You know, just so many openings that you can do because you have the liquid.
Yeah, because you were telling me like the 23-year-olds may have like 2 to 3 properties out there.
Absolutely. I tell you, my next door neighbor, our house was built around the same time. He's married. He's 23.
Yeah. Married.
Yeah.
House.
23, a house, everything.
Yeah.
And that's common out there.
Yeah.
You know, kids just buy houses when they're 18, 19. They just buy their first home.
Jeez.
Because you don't need that big of a salary to
Yeah.
qualify for a mortgage.
Yeah,
That's
true.
that cheap.
True.
You know? So that's the opportunity that I feel like because we grew up in a place where there's a system already in place, that's all we know. We don't know anything else. But when you travel around the world, you start getting knowledge on how things are done differently in different places.
Yeah.
So me being out there, some of my neighbors, they build their own home.
Yeah.
You see them and on the weekend building their own house.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, women, where do they do that at?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
But they do that.
Yeah.
My neighbor just was like, my base, because my business is not finished right now. I can put a 3-bedroom down there with a big
Yeah.
a living
You can
room
put
and
a
everything.
3-bedroom in your basement.
Yeah. Big bedroom too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and I'm gonna do that by myself.
Yeah.
Because I got to hang around people with that have those skills.
Yeah.
And now I can do drywall, I can frame,
Yeah.
I can tape, I can do flooring,
Yeah,
ceiling.
yeah.
I can do all of that.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is like, hey buddy, you wanna come help me this weekend? Yeah, let's do it.
Jeez.
So it's a bunch of friends who get together and you
Because you were
build a
telling me
home.
your driveway was at 13K, a big driveway.
Yeah, but my driveway fits like 8 cars, and I had to pay. Here's the thing: when your expenses are less,
Yeah.
you get more liquid. As I was just saying.
Yeah.
So I paid that out of pocket, 13,000 out
Yeah.
of pocket. Just you guys just do it.
Yeah.
But because you have more money that stays behind,
Yeah.
I can travel all I want now because
100%.
I have more money I can play around with. But when I was in the GTA, literally, I had a good job and making a lot of money compared to everybody else around me.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that money comes in,
That's going out.
it's out.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you can talk all about investment and all that. And trust me, us motivational speakers, we can motivate you all we want.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, it comes down to, is it doable? Can you do it in the environment in which you're in?
100%.
You can have a dream, but is it doable? Is it achievable? Look around you. It's like, if it's not achievable where you are,
And what are we talking
change
about?
your environment.
Yeah.
Change your environment. Go somewhere else.
100%.
Make it happen.
Yeah. 100%.
Many people today they can't live their dreams or goal just because the environment in which they're in.
Yeah. You're right. Jeez.
They just can. It's not possible.
Yeah.
You can have 2 jobs, but all you're doing is trying to catch up on bills.
Yeah.
All you're doing is living
That's not
paycheck by
financial
paycheck.
freedom.
That's not financial freedom. And all you're doing is trying to, at the same time, you're trying to fix your credit. At the same time, you're trying to catch up on your bills. And then all of a sudden, boom, something big happens and now you fall behind.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's a cycle, man.
Yeah. So so I want to talk about even like investment purposes. I want to talk about like, is there a renter's market out there? Like, how does that work? Because it's so cheap. So I can't, like just off the top of my head, I can't imagine like a big renter's market. So if you just wanted to like invest out there, is that a thing or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Investment is everywhere. But it all depends on the scale in which you're investing in, right? I'll give you an example right now. My realtor, who's also a good friend of mine, he just bought, I think it's about 10 acre
10 acres.
behind a university.
Oh no.
And
Yo.
he's building a whole neighborhood.
Oh no. 10 acres.
Yeah.
Behind a university.
But yeah,
He's
and
good for life.
Yeah, he's building a whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
He's under 30.
Under 30.
Yeah.
How much did that 10 acres cost around?
I think right now where he bought it is probably $1 million
Yeah.
because of the area. It's a
university
and
developing
so on.
area.
Yeah, but it's a huge land. It's behind the university.
Yeah.
So right now we're drafting up a plan on. He's putting smaller homes
For the
for
students.
250.
For 250.
For 250, it's going to be brand new homes.
Yeah.
Development behind a university. And it's going to be, you can invest in the rental market. There is a rental market everywhere.
Yeah.
Students go everywhere.
Yeah.
People are moving and turning around everywhere.
Yeah.
I just had a friend of mine who, we just had conversation like we talk.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about opportunities down there.
Yeah.
And last summer, he's like, I'm coming. I'm like, all right, come. He came and I put him in contact with my builder.
Yeah.
They just built them a home, single home,
Yeah.
single detached home. He has 2 bedrooms upstairs. They just finished his basement as well. He bought it for 300.
300.
Brand new home.
Brand new home. 300.
Yeah.
That's like what, 1.2 out here?
Yeah. Or more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't even live in there.
Jeez. Because his mortgage payments are.
Yeah. He doesn't have to really,
Worry about
renters and all that. He's a teacher. He works in like Nunavut, and he only comes down like for the summer.
Yeah.
And lives in there and then goes back.
Jeez. Because if you're like, let's say I got a condo for 150, right?
Yeah.
And my mortgage payments are 700. I'm not gonna stress if renters are moving in? What's 700? And let's say
Exactly.
even if I wanted to
You're gonna
split it with someone.
you're gonna rent it out for probably like $1,200.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, there's condo fees, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
But then it all comes down to margin, right?
Yeah.
So what you might make out here in margin, might not make it over there in margin, but you're looking at maybe pocketing an extra $400 a month while somebody's paying your mortgage,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And the good thing about that is that because the way mortgage is given is based on your income and your dad and so on, if you make a good income and you bought a house for 150, you still have room to buy another one.
Yes, exactly.
So somebody
and
gets
if you're
qualified.
5% home buyers,
Yeah.
that's
But 5% will only qualify for if you're actually living in it.
Okay,
so
true.
for an investment, it's 20%.
Okay, which
but
is
even
still-
if 20%, if it's a $150,000 home, that's 30 grand. 20%.
and here you're set. Here that 20% is costing you like 110.
Exactly. So you got 30. If you got 110, you're
That's
buying three.
Three.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is, so I'm gonna spill it out there. My goal right now is, I mean, I like just to give knowledge. And
Yeah.
my goal right now is I'm going in townhouses now for all three of my kids.
Jeez.
My goal is each one of them
have a
gotta
townhouse.
have townhouse. By the time they're ready, if they want to go to school, do their thing, they can
Yeah.
do it.
But it'll be
By
in
the
their
time
name.
they're ready, this is yours.
Wow.
You got a head start.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of, especially us black people, we don't give our children head start.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always have that
And
thing
our parents
of
and grandparents gave us a head start by even coming here.
yeah, right. But financially, we're behind because we don't get head start. I give
Yeah.
an example. I was in the University of Toronto,
Yeah.
and I was working a part-time job at Rona down here in Mississauga,
Yeah.
Winston Churchill and Eglinton.
Yeah.
I was working at the Rona while going to university. And a buddy of mine, we went to the same high school, we were going to the same university. He's asking me, he's like, yo, why you work so hard?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, because I got to pay my tuition.
Yeah.
He's like, why you got to pay for your tuition? Your parents never save money for you?
Oh, geez. And that's when it clicked.
That's when it clicked.
Yeah.
He telling me that his grandparents saved money for him. So it's like 2 generation
Yeah.
kind of saving to give him a head start.
Yeah.
So all he had to do is just focus on his studies.
Yeah.
Well, I had to grind.
Yeah.
And so
Now you're distracted.
distracted, right? So here's the thing. We confuse sometimes hard work and working smart. We have this mentality of you gotta go, you gotta work hard, you gotta do this for. Yeah, you do, but you gotta work smart at the same time. So I
100%.
encouraging everyone. It's like prepare your next generations.
Yeah.
Prepare that because we're the sacrifice. Most of us are like first, second generation immigrants, right? Nobody's gonna come and hand us something.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word compete, but we are literally competing against people that had
That been doing
generational
this.
wealth,
Yeah. 100%.
right? Even the friend that you had in high school that you were smarter than them,
Yeah.
you finish high school or you finish university with them, they end up getting such a high paying job because it's getting passed on.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
While you're partying with them, they got somebody that's just going to hand it to them.
Yeah.
Well, you got to work 3 times harder to
Yeah.
get that. We all get that speech. You
Yeah.
got to work 3 times harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if we don't have to work 3 times
And we
harder
don't
and have
anymore.
to be 3 times smarter?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Each one of your kids, by the
Yeah.
time they're 18,
yeah,
own townhouse.
they will.
Jeez, and then they have that leverage or they have that like step ahead to make their own moves, whether they want to
Absolutely.
pull equity out, whether they want to, because I'm sure that that's taught in the house.
Exactly.
You know?
Finances is a big thing right now. I tell you, my firstborn, he's 8.
Yeah,
First thing last year we got him a wallet.
yeah,
So now he's responsible for buying his younger siblings toys, like when we go to the grocery
that's
store.
amazing. That's
Right?
amazing.
We're teaching him. And I was so shocked because we went to the store and
Yeah.
his siblings were like, yo, buy me this, buy me
Yeah.
that. And they had it in their hand. And we got to the cashier. He looked at me. He's like, I'm not buying it. I'm like, what do you mean you're not buying
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
He said, I'm going to spend all my money.
really.
I didn't have to teach him that.
Yeah.
It's just put him in a position for him to be able to understand that from a young age.
Yeah.
And then he got it.
Yeah.
The other day I was in the car with the whole family. We're driving and I was like, we got to go buy Christmas light to put in the house.
Yeah.
And I say just out loud, I got to go buy a ladder so I can, go up and put the lights on.
Yeah.
My daughter say, Dad, you don't got to go buy a ladder. I'm like, why? He say, a neighbor got one. Just go get it for him. You don't got to spend the money. So it started clicking. It started clicking naturally.
Yeah.
It's all these little things.
And you're putting them in the environment.
Exactly. You could put them in a position where it's like, you gotta save your money. You gotta invest your money. You gotta let them read books that are actually gonna give them food for thought.
Yeah.
We gotta stop. I gotta say this. Us black people, we gotta stop being the consumer.
100%.
Right. All we do is, and we all are victim of this too. Like growing up, it was like, yo, we buy a fit every weekend just to go to a party.
Yeah.
Like let's go to a club. Like a new fit.
Yeah.
New this, new that. But you don't gotta do that.
Yeah.
We don't gotta do that.
Let's buy some assets.
Our focus was so much on the product. We became the consumer that we don't even own the merchandise, but we are just the consumer of that merchandise.
Yeah.
Right? I most people hate Kanye, but I like that guy's mentality. Regardless of the foolishness, I don't care. But he's telling everybody, it's like, yo, you gotta buy land.
Yeah.
You gotta buy land because land is wealth. Land can get passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing. I was one time I was working in like a rural Manitoba. I was doing more like welcoming immigrants and so on. I was directing this project for Francophone immigrants, right?
Yeah.
And I was working in a small city, and I was walking around. I met this older guy, right? He living like on a main street, a big house and yard and everything. He was just, I see him every day just working on his yard.
Yeah.
He's retired. So I stopped and I started asking him like, oh, that's a nice house. Like, when did you build this house? He's like, well, we bought this place he told me about it back in the 70s.
Jeez.
And I said, how much did you buy it for? He said $1,300. He bought it back in the 70s.
$1,300?
Yes. Big, probably like 2 acres of land.
Jeez.
Okay. Built a big house.
Yeah.
And then as we were talking, he's telling me there's an area there, like on the main intersection, close, almost like a downtown.
Yeah.
There used to be a gas station there. He say, oh, that place, I own it. And I just passed it on to my kid now. And he's looking at, they're putting a grocery store there.
Jeez. Yo.
See the power of land?
Yeah.
He just owned the place since the 70s. It's been sitting there.
Yeah.
And now his kids get to enjoy the equity in it.
Yeah.
And being the owner of that land, a grocery store is coming and building a big grocery store in there. They get money coming in every month.
But even look at your own accusation is that you bought a piece of land for $12,000 in 2 years. It went up to like 64, and you're sitting on it.
Just sit on it.
Next 20 years, who knows?
Exactly.
Whatever, you have options.
Yeah.
And talking about land, are you looking for more land? Like, what's your strategy with that?
So, of course, I'm in a realtor app like every day, seeing what's the opportunity out there. I missed out on one opportunity. Was last year. It was a 200 acre.
200 acres.
Yes, it was selling for I think 1.2 million.
1.2 million.
Yeah.
Can you just give me an idea? Like, what does 200 acres look like?
People don't understand how big that is, though.
How far are we talking?
How can we even? I don't even know how we can measure that. Like compare it to like
is
what?
It like from here to like Mavid or like not that far, but like here to like
200 acre.
What can you build on?
It's
200
like
acres?
200 acre is like almost like it's a whole neighborhood.
A neighborhood, okay.
Jeez. Or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a million.
Yeah.
What are we talking
And it
about?
was all treed up and everything. So it's like, oh, you gotta do whatever activities you want in there. If it's like a hunting or like so this is a good story. I'll tell you. There's this friend of mine I know who has I don't even know how big his land is, but you know what he did? He built campsites in his land.
Smart.
He built an artificial beach in there, and he put campsites. So in the summer, people come out there and rent out campsites.
Then he just getting that cash flow.
That's it.
Jeez. So when you're looking for land, what are things that you look for to be like, you know what, that's that piece of land that I want? What do you
So
look for?
when you're looking for land, there's two different type of land. There's lands where you can build on right away, like build a home or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the other one is like more just like a recreational land where you can't really build a home. It's more like an activities that you can do in there, like and so on. So you gotta look at that if there's a permit for how. Sometimes it's like you can build right away. Sometimes they tell you can't build until like a certain year,
Okay.
and so on. So you gotta depending on your goal and what you're trying to
You
do.
have to have a strategy.
You gotta have a strategy on what you want to do.
Okay.
And sometimes land can be cheap, but building on it might be expensive because you gotta cut down trees.
Yeah.
You gotta level up the land.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there might not be power in there. You gotta figure out how to bring in power and so on. So
True.
you gotta really evaluate what kind of land it is.
Yeah.
And it's but what I like down there is you have at least the opportunity to buy land.
Yeah.
A few years ago, when I was shopping for land, I went and I met this one guy. And I know you guys talk about this a lot in the podcast. I met this one guy, older guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He was selling, I think he had 30 acre and he was trying to sell like just a piece of it. So I went and met with him and I said, oh, it was on the highway number 1.
Yeah.
If people don't know highway number 1, it goes like from Ontario, like all the way down to like BC.
Yeah.
So it was like right on the highway.
Yeah.
The guy was selling it. And at the time, I think he was selling it for like 25,000. It was like 4 or 5 acre or something like that at the time. And I went and met with him. I told him, what do you do?
Yeah.
He looked at me and he had this little garage built on his property. He looked at me and he say, I own a corporation. And I say, what corporation? He pointed at the garage and he said, that's my corporation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then he has all this land too.
And he has all this land. So he runs, it's not really a profitable business, but he claims it every year with the negative profit and he skips on taxes because of that.
Wow.
Right?
Because of the opportunity to have all this land.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
So he got all these things going on where it's like, man, at least you got that opportunity. But growing up, who do we have to tell us that?
Yeah, 100%. That
you can actually buy land. You know, we were growing up in Mississauga. There was a lot of pieces of land in different places. It's probably expensive. Yeah. But today you don't see that.
No, there's nothing affordable or
nothing affordable. It's all condos built up.
100%.
Now imagine owning a piece of land. We're still young.
Yeah.
20 years down the line.
Yeah.
We're in our 50s.
Yeah.
We still got strength.
Yeah.
And that place being worth $10-20 million.
Jeez.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
There's opportunity. Canada is big, man. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's empty.
Yeah.
You know? But, there's opportunity different places in Canada that you can, invest slowly depending on your income, depending on what you got.
Yeah.
And at least being able to set your next generation.
Yeah. Are you looking in any other provinces than Manitoba right now, or?
Well, I've traveled a lot of provinces. I like going on road trips.
Yeah.
I've done a road trip from Manitoba all the way down to Nova Scotia.
Oh, geez. That's deep.
yeah. It's like you travel in different time zones.
Yeah.
But and I'd love, at one point in life I wanted to see what the opportunity was down like in Nova Scotia area and so on. But then I just ended up being in Manitoba, which is closer to like some of the family member and so on. So but I like to have land in a place where at least I know I'm close by.
Yeah.
Because when you have land that's just sitting there, there's rules. You can't just let trees grow up, and depending on the type of land. You gotta groom it and things like that. So depending on the type of land, if it's just a treed up land and stuff, you don't need to really maintain it.
Yeah.
But if it's a land where it's like an actual neighborhood, right, that you gotta really maintain it, or otherwise the city is gonna start giving you tickets and stuff like that. So,
so for your land that's sitting there, do you have to groom that one as well?
Yeah, you gotta groom it every summer and go in there when the grass grows, and so it's in the neighborhood. So it's like there's houses between it.
Okay, is that a big cost? Like what is the maintenance fees?
No, I mean you just to hire someone who just drive down there and every month or so just cut it. You know, things like that. But at least you have the thing is you have the time to do all of that now because you're not working three jobs,
Yeah.
right? Whereas most people out here, you're working the 2 3 jobs. You don't have the time to even spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
They only see you for like 30 minutes before they go to bed, or they're already sleeping by the
Like
time
you're
you get
actually
home. 'Cause
living.
you're commuting.
No. Jeez. Like right now, like you and your wife, like you're probably the definition of actually like raising your children.
Yeah,
Because you got to spend time with them.
absolutely.
Like in here, I believe like, and it's no shade or anything like that because everyone's so busy that like schools raising their children or YouTube or the iPads raising their children, and you actually get to spend time, quality time.
It's such a good point because I think I forgot to mention that is that one of the quality things, and whether also the reason why we moved down there is because we wanted kids to be kids.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is that when you live in a big city, there's so much politics around schools, right? Out here, I just gotta say, like they are trying to teach your children, you can have 2 dads, you can have
yeah, I
two
know.
moms, and all that kind of politics that kids don't need to know. I believe for
I
at
agree.
least for that's my belief. It's like I don't need my kids to know that at that
Or
age.
it should be your choice.
Or it should be my choice to tell them if it's it's correct or not. But when you're in a place like this, they're imposing the will on you and your children and so on. And most kids, what they do at school, like, you don't even know what they're being taught at school because you don't even have the time to check what they do at school. So down there, we live in a neighborhood where it's like back in the days when we were growing up.
Yeah, always outside playing
Kids,
with each other.
my kids that come home in the summer, it's like they don't try to watch TV.
Yeah.
They come with their friends from school
Yeah.
and go in the backyard.
Yeah, that's back in the day. That's what we used to do all day. Yeah. Yeah.
Their friends don't even go to their home.
Yeah.
Their parents just know they're at our place because that's where the fun is in the backyard. You know what I mean? So, and everybody knows everybody in the neighborhood. So everybody's watching out for each other's kids.
Yeah.
And so on. You just know that that's such person's kid. That's that person's kid and so on. And they come and they just eat whatever. They go and so on. They play.
Yeah.
And one time I started feeling a little bit weird because we're from the big city.
Yeah.
And there was these kids in the neighborhood. They're always outside. I always wonder, where are your parents?
Yeah. Yeah.
They grew up in such a rural place that the kid is like, oh, my mom went to the city.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
So your mom just went to the city and just left you? Yeah. I mean, it's a little irresponsible, but that's the level of, people just living without having to have
those
agendas
fears
and so on. I guess my kids, they go at school and they sing Christian songs in music class and so on. And the neighborhood is all like most of the neighborhood in there. They are like Mennonite, so it's like the old school. It's like there's not too much politics, and I like that because I want my kids to be kids.
Yeah.
My son is 8 years old. He never asked me for no phone.
Yeah.
Never asked for no PlayStation. Yeah. None of that.
Yeah. Geez.
He spends more of his time in the wintertime right now. He spends more time drawing.
Wow. Amazing.
Piece of paper, drawing. We buy.
Being creative.
Being creative.
Because now our kids, like down here, what I've noticed, and it's no fault because I just think, again, everyone's so busy. Yes, the environment is that these kids from 2 years old, 3 years old are picking up the iPad and watching YouTube Kids all day.
Yeah.
All
day long.
And they're going like this.
Yeah.
And you see that. And it's
stories and then TikTok and all that.
And they're just programmed in this machine, AI, artificial intelligence type of world from 2 to 3 years old.
Absolutely.
And we don't know, because we haven't lived that long, we don't know the effect of this when they're older.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. There's always an agenda somewhere.
100%.
And that's why I feel like it's also our responsibility as parents to protect our children.
Yeah, and provide an environment.
And provide them with the environment which is going to help them.
Yeah.
And it's so crucial. People think they don't have a choice. No, you have a choice. You just got to make a decision and understand that it's a sacrifice.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think like because we're the same, or you're whatever,
I
same
think
age.
we're same age.
Yeah, so I just feel like when you're in your 20s and if you live in Toronto, okay, live this life, party, do what you gotta do, okay? But when you're approaching 30s or mid 20s, I feel like this, especially this episode, like you should start to think about these options, especially if you want a family.
Yeah.
Right? Because I just feel that, I don't know. I like me and him been friends since we were 5 years old, and we
Yeah.
were always outside.
Yeah.
And I would love to provide that for my future children.
That's it.
And I feel like moves like you did that we can relive that kind of experience for our kids. I
Absolutely.
think that's super important.
Absolutely. And one thing I gotta say is, yeah, you are gonna miss your friends. Yeah, you're gonna miss your family. But think about it right now. You are in the same city as your friends and your family. How many times do you guys actually see each other?
Bars, facts, facts.
Think
Facts,
about it.
facts.
How many times do you actually see each other?
Facts.
So if you can make 1 or 2 trips a year, come down and see them.
Yeah.
The amount of money that you spend on flight or whatever.
Now you can
compared
enjoy
to-
them.
Compared to the amount of money you're actually saving throughout the whole year.
Yeah,
Do the math.
yeah,
It's a no-brainer,
yeah,
right? But you're actually advancing in your life.
yeah,
You're not stuck,
yeah,
right? I don't have big restaurants around my house.
yeah.
I don't have a big mall around my house.
Mhm.
You know what we do in the summer sometimes? We go fruit picking.
Yeah. Why not?
We have farms around us.
Yeah,
We buy our meat from the farm.
yeah,
We don't buy our meat from the store.
yeah. Where it's all modified and genetic up, and
Yeah.
now you're even eating better.
You know, just before I came here yesterday, we had a guy came from the farm and delivered. I think it was about 26 pounds of lamb
Jeez.
for $150.
26 pounds.
Yeah, of lamb meat.
Yeah.
Straight from the farm.
Yeah, yeah,
Bio.
yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah, we eat bio over there, bro.
yeah.
It's not about all these meat at the store where it's all chemicals and all that stuff. No,
Yeah,
our meat is all bio.
yeah.
I'll make you laugh. My neighbor one time invited me to his place. So, oh, we're having a barbecue. I came down there. I see a whole different type of meat. I don't see what's this. Bison.
Oh, bison.
Bison meat.
Jeez.
I'm like, where'd you get that? Oh, I went hunting. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna take it
Yeah.
that far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's cool to see.
Yeah.
That he's like, oh yeah, I got the whole thing in my freezer. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see, being in a different environment.
Yeah.
You know, and we gotta be open sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
and we gotta
sometimes.
be. I feel like living and growing up in the city, we get so far away from nature, and we
Yeah.
all need it. We need to be grounded
do.
in nature. We need to have that balance.
We
and
do.
now you're able to live that moving out of the city.
Bro, I don't see cops around.
Yeah.
My kids haven't seen a police officer.
Jeez.
Kids don't see an ambulance
Yeah.
around.
And now
There's no gunshot. They don't know what a gunshot is, bro.
Yeah.
Think about that. Security for your children.
Yeah.
You know? Being raised in an environment where they don't see in the news or anything like that. There was somebody that was stabbed, somebody that was shot, and so
Yesterday,
on, all the
someone
violence.
died at scooters.
That's right.
Shot.
You know?
This is Mississauga today.
Yeah.
And Mississauga, like dude,
Yeah.
we're not even talking about Toronto
That's
downtown.
it. So as a parent, why not sacrifice to provide your children with an environment where they can actually grow and be
100%.
100% like kids in life and actually be human being and bring
100%.
value to the society
100%.
versus you don't know what your kid is going to turn
Yeah.
like.
100%.
Because we all know we grew up in this place where it's like literally you can go one way or another way.
Yeah, easily too. Easily. And I've dabbled, like I've been super open about this. I've dabbled in different lifestyles where it could have went far left for
I'm
me.
telling you.
Right?
We did that in
Yeah.
Saga. Like now, like we go back and you think about it, it's like, man, I could have ended up like this.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just one click, and I could have been on the other
Yeah,
side.
100%.
You know, I got friends that we were super close today, where it's like you look in the news, and it's like, oh, he got arrested, or
Yeah.
he kidnapped someone.
Easy, yeah.
Like, how do you even have an idea of kidnapping somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's because the environment can really take you one way or another.
100%.
You know, some of us grew up with we didn't have like a father figure around us and so on. You got to make a choice. Made a lot of mistakes. You know, growing up. You know, blew money every weekend. Who wasn't a government every weekend? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Back in the days, you know.
yeah.
So it was that.
Yeah.
But we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But now we're grown now, and we know better.
And now we can,
You know.
this is a way to start generational wealth.
And I know, and a lot of people are feeling right now, it's like, yo, there's no way I can start. Like, this market is crazy. Like, I'm stuck. No, I'm here to tell you, you got opportunities. You just got to really link yourself with the right people that can actually put you in a position for you to start over. Because it ain't over yet. You know?
That's a good point. how long? What's our window? How long do we have? Do you think? When is this window gonna close?
Well, we're lucky right now because the market slowed down.
Okay.
With the interest rate being risen and everything,
Yeah.
it slowed down the market, so the prices are not going as high as it was going.
Yeah.
Because we were everywhere in Canada was really going, prices were going high. We built a house 2 years ago, and I already got $100,000 in equity in
Jeez.
it because prices were going high. But now it's slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who's making an average income, they can still afford
Yeah.
right now. But you know how these things go. It's never gonna be like that forever.
Exactly.
So opportunities, and I always tell this to people, is like opportunity is all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
And time is always now.
Mm-hmm.
Now is always the perfect time.
Mm-hmm. So you're never gonna be
there's
quote unquote ready.
There's never a thing. Oh, I gotta do this, and then I'm gonna do this. No, time is now.
Uh-huh.
Because I was thinking about it. Some of the piece of land that I could have bought and taken advantage of.
Yeah.
2 years ago, now they've tripled in price.
Jeez. Over just maybe thinking about it.
Overthinking.
Yeah.
You know, maybe tomorrow I'm going to do this first and I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And then it's gone.
And then gone. Just like that.
Jeez.
Because you're not the only one that's looking at it.
Yeah, 100%. And you're not the only one that's thinking like
There's
you.
not the only one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So by the time you're trying to figure it out, somebody else already grabbed it.
100%.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like that.
Jeez.
So time is really time is now.
Yeah.
Time is really now.
Jeez.
You know, I spend a lot of my life learning about leadership and so on. I'm a John C. Maxwell certified leader. So a lot of those, it was like I think that's what saved me, right? I gotta tell you how it all started. I started grinding very young. My first hustle was when I was still in the Congo. My first hustle was I had a bicycle.
Yeah.
And I was trying to buy new Reebok pumps and all that kind of stuff, all white, you know.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, "No, we're not buying you that.
Yeah.
You got to go figure out how to get it on your own."
Yeah.
I was probably like 7 years old.
Jeez.
I had a bike. I figured that a lot of kids in my neighborhood didn't have the opportunity to have a bike.
Yeah.
So I started renting out my bike. Bro.
Jeez,
I started Ubering my bike.
At 7 years old.
At 7 years old. That's how I got enough money to buy my first pair of sneakers.
Okay, smart.
You know, so the hustle is here.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at when I came down here, I started grinding a lot, and all my friends know that I was always the one like, yo, he's got the first kind of townhouse, he's got the first car, he's got the first this.
Yeah.
But it was all about taking advantage of opportunities and being able to see the opportunity and grabbing it before somebody else grabs it.
100%.
Right? So it was one day, I could still remember this day. I was renting out a basement down here and down on Eglinton, I believe, in Mississauga. And, you know, I moved out from home and I thought everything was going to be like great. You know, I'm young. I'm going to have friends over all the time. We're going to party. We're going to do that. You know, that was all like an illusion.
Yeah.
It's for a little bit, yes, but then most of the time you're spending it by yourself. So I was with a lot of lonely times. People don't know this, but it was a lot of lonely time. Now I'm like opening up about my experience. So one day I looked at the ceiling and someone told me to grab a piece of paper and a pen. I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen, and someone told me, start writing all your skills. Write it down. I start writing all my skills. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at this. And it says circle it. So I circled it.
Yeah.
And I say, what is it that I can do in life, right, that I can utilize all of my skills?
Yeah.
Right. And that time it was like BBM Messenger.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I was like, man, I'm a good leader. I'm a good speaker. I'm this, I'm that. And I didn't even know the thing about motivational speaker. I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah, you were doing that for a while.
Bro. So the first thing I started doing was, and I always say, guys, sometimes what we need to do in life is the thing that we need the most. Okay? I needed motivation. So I started motivating.
Ah, makes sense.
Right?
Yeah,
so I started sending out motivational quote through BBM broadcasts.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah.
And I swear 99% of the people were like, yo, stop sending these things.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's life. You know, I'm talking about my experience, but it applies in anything in life.
Yeah.
when you really want to do something, not everybody's going to see your vision.
Yeah.
Maybe 1% of people might see a vision, and
100%.
I'm talking about you too, Corey.
Yeah,
like, you know,
100%.
people are gonna be like, "Yo, Corey? What are you actually doing?
Yeah.
Are you doing what everybody else is doing? This and this and this
Yeah.
and that." But it's not about that. It's about the 1% that actually see your vision. Because remember, your vision is only given to you and you only.
Exactly.
Only
That's
you.
our mission.
Yeah, it's only you that's able actually to see it.
Yeah.
It's through your eyes. It's not through everybody else's eyes.
Yeah.
So that was what stuck with me. And the few people that liked what I was doing, one day I just sat down and I had a friend of mine, and she messaged me. She said, I'm a president at the university, and we'd like to have you over to speak. That's my first gig of speaking.
Jeez.
All right? That's my very first
Jeez.
gig. I swear to God, that's my very first gig of speaking.
Yeah.
And it came like that.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. Some people have a problem with this phrase, but perception is reality. Okay? I'm responsible for what I tell you, but I'm not responsible for how you understand what I tell you.
100%.
Okay? So for me, I was only passing on the motivational quote.
Yeah.
But in her mind, she understood that I was this big speaker.
Yeah.
I was not at the time.
Yeah.
So she invited me to speak at the university. You know, it was far. It was Niagara over there. So I had to drive out there. The night before, I didn't sleep, Corey, because I was nervous as hell. I was trying to figure out, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
I had a whole PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And an hour before the presentation, I scratched the presentation. I said, I'm just going to go out there and talk about my experience.
Yeah.
Let it just flow naturally.
Yeah.
So we got there. And I was with Khalid.
Yeah.
So he came with me. And I did my thing, and I finished. Corey, every student lined up to talk to me.
Jeez.
It was a lineup.
Jeez.
I could still remember, and Khalid, I know you're watching this. I still can remember Khalid looked at me. He's like, I didn't know you had this in you. I'm
Jeez.
like, I didn't know it either.
Jeez.
So,
but that was your vision.
that was my vision.
And that was a mission for you. Only you.
Only me. And from that point, everything just
Took off.
took off. You know, we started with the no limit T-shirts. We started with the low limit interviews and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just went on and on.
Yeah.
And then I started, university started flying me in, speaking and making big checks and conferences and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But when I talk about sacrifice, Corey, at one point I had to put that on the pedestal and say, I need to not sacrifice for the next generation.
And that's how you're here today.
Yeah. I could have still been in Toronto speaking on all these different places. But here's the one thing. We have two different lives. We have our private life and we have our public life.
100%.
In the public life, everybody would have been like, yo, that guy's great.
Yeah.
Doing amazing things, so on and so on. But in my public life, probably I got a lot of debt, collections.
Yeah.
Just
fighting to make
just trying to fight to make. And I had a friend of mine who was a huge Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
But we talked. He's like, I can't make it, man. Jeez. Everybody thinks I'm great. I got all these followers and I got all these things, but I'm struggling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even pay my bills.
Jeez.
Kind of things, right? So that's where I was like, yo, we got to be real sometimes and be like, okay, when is it time for me to really, make that sacrifice? I can still motivate. I still participate in different conferences and why not?
Yeah.
But timing is now for me to sacrifice for the next generation and see how that's going to unfold.
Jeez. Yo, honestly, this will be out January 2nd, first of all.
Yeah.
And I just believe that this is one of those interviews that people need to see.
Absolutely.
And because before, honestly, I'll be transparent. It's like I didn't take a lot of American media because that's all you see, right? Yeah. And then I would see like people investing in places like Cleveland, some parts of Atlanta, and all these places where you can get houses for like dirt cheap, right? And you see these people making sacrifices, doing the same thing you're doing. And I always, in the back of my mind, said, where can we do this in Canada?
Yeah.
Like we had Stefan come up here and he talked about his houses, a few out west or whatever.
Shout out Stefan.
Yeah. And then I was always like, we need to build a bridge so people can know like what they can invest in other parts of Canada where it's cheap.
We can build a neighborhood if we want to.
Jeez,
We just got to come together.
100%.
People just don't, and this is one thing that our people just don't like working together sometimes. You look at the Indians, look at the Filipinos. They come together. They probably sometimes live like 10 people in one house.
Yeah, for the
And just
sacrifice.
for the sacrifice. We don't like sacrificing. And that's got to change.
Yeah, 100%.
That's got to change. We got to know it's like it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
You know? And what you see on the outside isn't always what we see on the inside.
100%.
So we got to be real with ourselves.
100%.
A lot of people, we know this now. We're not young no more. We know this now that, death is real. Credit has got to be good.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of parameters that needs to be settled.
Yeah.
Some mistakes can be fixed in a year. Some mistakes need 10 years to be fixed.
But we got to start.
We got to start somewhere and look at the possibilities, and you need a fresh start. Don't feel bad about moving away and going where you can get yourself a fresh start.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Well, jeez, that's a lot of information. I want to ask you two questions that I ask everybody on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
And the first one is, what is the best advice that you received, and what is the worst advice that you received? And you don't have to say any names.
I don't think it's an advice that I received from someone, but it's a
Or heard.
conclusion
Okay.
that I've come down to.
Okay.
And I will always go back to my favorite quote
And this is the
of
best.
all time. Yeah. And I always talk by this quote. Anybody that hear me speak, I never, ever not talk about this quote. It's a quote by Francis of Assisi that says, you start by doing what's necessary, then you do what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible.
Jeez.
It's a ladder of the process.
Yeah.
You ain't going to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Let's be real. You ain't going to do that. You got to start somewhere. And the possibility is what's just in front of you. Start by just doing based on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Corey, when you started this podcast, you just started with what's in front of you.
Literally.
And in this concept, I talked about the mountain sometimes. When you're at the bottom of the mountain, when you look at the top, what you're actually seeing at the top there, that's not actually the top of the mountain.
What do you mean?
Because you don't know the top until you get to that first point. And you ain't going to know where you can get to from the bottom.
Yeah. So you got to get there.
But you just got to start.
Yeah.
You just got to start climbing.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that one place, you realize that what you were seeing
Isn't the same.
isn't the same. There's more.
Yeah.
So it's a process. But many people get fooled by, quick success, gratification, all that. But that's not what the process looks like. You got to start now. I don't care if you have a bad credit. Start by cleaning it up one by one.
Yeah.
Start changing
That's where
your
I'm
lifestyle.
at right now. Clean up my credit.
Yeah. Start changing your lifestyle. Maybe you don't have to go eat every weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't got to do all that expenses that you do. Maybe you need to move back down to your parents, but not to spend more money, but to save more money, to pay off more debt, and so on. So that's just what's in front of you. That's the necessary. And then to get to the possibility. And now you're looking at, my credit is 650 or more, and I'm at 700 and so on.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at what's possible for me to do.
Exactly. Jeez.
Now you're looking at the possibility, okay, I can buy this one. I can get a proof for this. I can do that. I can invest here. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then you get your first opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what's possible.
Jeez.
And then because of what you're going to learn from your first opportunity, that's going to unlock for you to now see the impossible. That all of a sudden you're like, so we can get together and buy.
You couldn't see that at the bottom.
You can't see that from the bottom.
I like that one.
Now you're like, okay, now we can buy 200 acre.
Yeah.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's probably one of the biggest for me, say, the lesson that I've learned in my life.
Yeah.
Start where you are.
Okay.
Because time flies. Next thing you know, it's 10 years down the line.
I haven't seen you in 10 years, and it seems like yesterday.
That's it. You know what I mean? And time just flies by, and then because you made those baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, success is not a destination. It's a journey. And all these pieces just links in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the small things. Like don't feel bad if you didn't succeed right away. It takes time.
100%.
It takes time. It took me a lot of mistakes. I moved around, like I just told you my journey. I moved around Alberta, I moved back here, this and that. But in that process, you don't think my wife was like, yo, what are we doing?
Yeah. Putting the pressure on.
Like, yo, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? You're moving us around different places and hoping that things will get better and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually it got better because of the lesson that you learned through all these.
Yeah. And you didn't give up.
Don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think for me, that's the nugget that I can drop for you guys right now. It's like, just start where you are.
That's a big one. And the last question, we like to make predictions on the show. So in 5 years, I want to play this back. Right?
Yeah.
And I want you to predict where you're going to be in the next 5 years. Or what do you want? And I'm like, he did say he was going to do that.
I like that because I'm an entrepreneur. I have an entrepreneur mindset. And I think I just mentioned to you that my goal is right now is how do I secure townhouses for my children so that
You have three?
Yeah, I got 3 kids. That's it. I'm done. I got 2 boys, 1 girl in the middle. So I'm done. My full focus right now is for them to have a better future.
Yeah.
And that's my full focus right now. So I think in the next 5 years, probably have some of those properties down.
Yeah.
I definitely want to. My wife and I, we have a goal of actually getting a bigger piece of land and building a dream home.
Jeez, just for the family.
Just for the family.
Yeah.
Because we enjoy that. My wife is an interior designer, and we enjoy that. Getting building a project from the start.
Yeah.
I've learned so much in the past years in terms of building myself. I can finish a whole basement by myself.
Jeez.
Like,
just by being in the environment.
Being an environment that you're saying that it's possible to do that.
You'd be too busy to do that.
But I didn't know what a drywall looks like behind when I was down here. I didn't know what was behind this thing when I was down here.
I don't.
It's a city life.
Yeah.
And now I know AV 16 inches. There's the
board.
You actually have whatchamacallit, shoot, what's the term? I forgot the term. But yeah, every 16 inches you actually have a piece of wood in the back here.
Like plywood?
No, not plywood. Plywood is in the bottom here. Yeah.
City life.
The term is just but it's a 2x4. It's back here. So all these little terms like 2x4 and 4x4.
Yeah.
You saw my place. I built my fence by myself.
Oh, you built that fence?
Yeah, I did that.
Your backyard, I'm telling you, that's when you sent me those pictures, like, I'm going to send you some pictures. I'm like,
I built the fence by myself. But before I built that, a guy came and we were trying to get a quote, and he told me that because of how big it is and so on, he quoted me, I think it was like, how much did he quote us again? I think it was about 9,000 or something like that.
It's kind of pricey.
Yeah, 9,000 because it's big.
Yeah.
And I built the whole thing under $3,000.
Jeez.
Because I did it by myself.
Yeah. And you're acquiring those skills from your environment, the people that you're around out there.
Yeah.
Because you actually get to live and learn.
That's it. My neighbor next door, he works in construction. He came and helped me put the first 3 posts.
Yeah.
He said, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
The rest, I was like, all right, thank you, man.
Yeah, I got it. Jeez. Okay.
Did the rest.
Jeez, that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
I want you to let people know where they can contact you, because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in just seeing what's over there, and I know a lot of people are going to hit you up and like, hey, what's my next move?
Yep.
Let them know.
Absolutely. So for you guys that know me, I'm a certified life coach, business coach, motivational speaker. And like I just mentioned, I just got also my mortgage license, so I can help a lot of you. Okay. One thing I want to say is like, you're not alone. That's the first thing. Sometimes people are struggling within themselves and you feel like you're by yourself. Nobody else understands what you're going through. Believe me, I understand what you're going through. Okay. It's not uncommon as much as you think it is. So you can hit me up. I can help you to see, okay, how do you go from point A to point B? How do you set up a plan for your life? How do we get there? I can help you get there. So you can contact me on IG at Active Dreams Coaching. Right, that's my brand. Been the brand from from a while now. Yeah. Right, Active Dreams, and I believe that everybody can have a dream, but if you're not active in your dreams, then you're not gonna get anywhere. It's just gonna stay as a dream. So I encourage people to be active in their dreams. So hit me up, and we can see what we can work out. If you feel like you're ready, you want to make a move somewhere where you can actually feel like you're living life and provide a better future for you and your family, let me know. I can help you with that as well, with the connection that I've built, relationships that I've built throughout the years in different places where I've been at. We can help you get there. I have great relationship with a lot of builders, and where there's different programs depending on the stage of life that you're in. So let's say you're not ready to get a mortgage right now because you're not going to qualify for a mortgage. Yeah. Well, I have a builder that can do rent to own with you. They will sit down with you and say, we put you on a rent to own for 2 years, right? In those 2 years, the price the advantage really is that you're locking in the price today. Yeah. So if the house is $350, you're locking in at $350 today. Yeah. And you give a down payment. You get a down payment
through the rent.
They hold that for you. Yeah. Are you doing the rent to own? Part of the money is going towards the rent. Part of the money is being held for you on top of the down payment that you put every month like that. So at the end of the 2 years, it not only gives you the opportunity for those 2 years to fix your credit and to make sure that everything is good, but you have the down payment that you put initially plus everything that was on top of monthly. Yeah. All that combined, you go to the bank and close with that money. At the price that was 2 years ago, while you were living in a house. So it's just a title transfer from you to from the builder to you. Yeah. So there's so many different ways and creative ways to do different things, but we gotta go from renters to actual owners, because then it can unlock a lot of opportunities financially for you. And again, the whole thing about doing what's necessary, and then we'll see what the next step is for yourself. Jeez. So hit me up, IG Active Dreams Coaching, and send me a message, and then we'll see what we can do.
And I want to thank you for coming onto the podcast. I know you had a busy day. You've been up since 2 a.m. Busy. And this will be out January 2nd. So this is how we're going to start the year. And this is I believe starting with this episode is a great thing, because 2023, it's time. The time is now.
Time is now, bro.
And
time is now.
Again, I want to thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Good seeing you. It's been like 10 years.
I swear, Jeez. Man. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I want to thank you so much for having me, and not just for me. I think just the platform, right, that you've created. A lot of people don't understand that knowledge is power.
100%.
Knowledge is absolute power. Today, as much as everything is programmed and how we're supposed to think, and how today we live in a world where it's like you got to pass on information, right? And I believe that a great leader is somebody who always is open to pass on information.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. We're just give.
That's it. Most of us who grew up in an environment where it was taught to hold information, because you don't want everybody else to do it. You want it for you, right?
Change.
But time has changed. We're in a time of information now. We're seeking information, and having a platform that provides people with the nuggets that they need to unlock the potential is so crucial.
100%.
Right? And, I say, you guys are watching this, please support the platform. Subscribe. yes. Thumbs up, do all that stuff. But Corey is doing this, but he also needs your support, not just, with you watching it, liking it, and so on. But, if you got something, even financially, drop it. Be like, yo, Corey, because of this podcast, I was able to do this and this and that. Here's my token of appreciation, kind of things. We got to support one another.
That sounds good.
It could be a camera, it could be a mic, it could be whatever. Yeah. Just drop it, man. Yeah. Because we need this. We need these kind of things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Corey puts so much work behind it, doing this. But, in the back end, we got to understand that it takes a lot of work It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of
It's my
sacrifice
life now.
and so on. So, yeah, I encourage you, and I encourage everybody to encourage what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Till next time. And
Thanks,
we
man.
gotta, honestly, I think we can have a working relationship going forward, because I do
Absolutely.
see this bridge, right, from Ontario to Manitoba.
Yes.
And I'm always open to your ideas and how we can make this work for a lot of people that want to make the move or want to make the investment or just even want to learn more.
Absolutely.
All right.
Make a trip.
Exactly.
Everything black on black. If I studied that facts on fact.